So here it is. This is the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus, and I got this phone 6 months after it's been released. Now this phone is actually a big change for me because this is where the radical design has changed of the Samsung Galaxy lineup, starting with the S21. And I like this design. This design is actually, I think it's pretty nice. It has the 3 cameras right here with a dedicated like cutout sort of, and it came from the S21 Ultra. And now this is actually a big jump for me because I came from the S20 FE. The FE, the fan edition from 2020, this is what I've been daily driving for about 2 years now. And I just upgraded to the S22 Plus. So I really like this phone and I want to show you all the things that I like about it, some things that I don't like about it. And now I do want to say that I'm not going to be reviewing like camera quality and things like screen resolution and all that, because I think there's other YouTubers that do it much better than me. But I want to share my experiences about using this phone and things that you might think about when you buy this phone after it's been released for so long. Let's start with the unboxing. When you get the box, it's actually a pretty thin box. I have the box right here, and it comes in this thin box, and what's inside the box? Actually, not much. First, when you open it up, you're greeted with the phone, and after the phone, you get a little box that comes with the charger. It is a USB-C to a USB-C cable, and that's about it. You get a SIM removal tool and some paperwork, and yeah, that's about it. And I do wish that I got a brick with this phone, because when I bought the S20 FE, it came with a USB-C to USB-A cable, and all I have are bricks that have USB-A on them. And what happens is with the USB-C to USB-C cable, I don't have any bricks that have USB-C at the end. So I'm one of those people that don't have the bricks, and this is the whole controversy with not including a brick in the box. And for me, luckily enough, the previous phones' USB-C bricks and cables work with the S22 Plus, so I'm still able to get fast charging through that means. And that's about it for the box. You can see some peels and everything like that. But I want to take your attention to the appearance of the phone, because the appearance of the phone is actually a little different than my S20. And now I know that there's not that many differences when you compare it to the S21, but in my circumstance, coming from the S20, especially the S20 FE, this is a tall phone. The S20 FE is a 6.5-inch phone. It has Super AMOLED display on it, and it's a fairly tall phone here. But when you look at the S22 Plus, it has a 6.6-inch phone, so it's actually bigger diagonally in terms of length. But what I found is that this phone is wider than this phone, and you can kind of see in the camera right here, the S20 FE is taller. It's kind of more like a long bar phone, while this is more of a wider phone. So it kind of got some use. I got to get used to like using this phone with a different type of appearance. What is interesting is that they're both still 1080p phones, so this actually has a higher pixel per inch ratio than this, but this has an overall higher screen to body ratio. The S22 Plus has about an 89.7% screen to body ratio, while the FE only has an 85.79% screen to body ratio. What I also found interesting is that the S22 lineup is kind of square overall. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but maybe the close-up B-roll shots will kind of clear it up, but it's kind of boxy. And the previous S20 FE had like round corners and everything, but this one is boxy. And it's actually nice because you get to hold on to it much more firmly, and I'm guessing this is also what an iPhone feels like when you daily use, because that's like a much boxier phone as well. It has a nice way to like hold the phone, and it rests comfortably in the palm and everything like that. And the side buttons are easily like reachable with thumbs and everything like that. Now both of these phones have the same battery capacity at 4,500 milliamp hours, but the S22 Plus has the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. And I think the Gen 2 chip is coming around, but the Gen 1 chip is actually a big change in the processing design of smartphones, especially for Android phones. Almost every Android phone now has the 8 Gen 1 chip in it. And I've noticed some big things with the 8 Gen 1 chip. First of all, battery. I mean, I've been using this phone for 2 years, the S20 FE, and I've noticed that the battery is starting to like lose its like power and everything. That could just be with year-to-year use and how many charging cycles it's been through. But the S22 Plus, The battery is fairly good. I get about a day and a few hours maybe, and that's a pretty good thing for me. I don't use my phone heavily, but I did start getting into some mobile gaming, especially Survivor.io and Egg Inc. Let me know if you play those games down below in the comments. I really like these games, but there's a lot of graphical models in that game and requires a lot of computing power. So I've noticed that the S22 Plus, it does handle them much better. I get better frame rates and better quality of the assets in the games. But what I also notice is that the top of this phone, kind of like where the camera is, like make a line right there and go up, that area gets really hot. And I'm imagining that's where the chip is. And it's not that uncomfortable to hold actually, because your hands are like down here and the heat is up here. But I do notice it gets considerably warm over here. And so with very demanding games, I should usually have a charger plugged in and I'm playing with my phone like that. What I didn't notice is all the bloatware that comes with Samsung devices. When I scroll over, it goes to Samsung Free right here. This is just one of the many things that is included when you open your Samsung up. Samsung Free has like free TV channels and things like that. But there's so many apps. When I got my phone here, there were so many apps that I had to like go through and delete. There's so many Samsung specific like bloatware that's installed on the phones, and it took me a good like 10-15 minutes of just going through and uninstalling or disabling the apps. Some apps you can't even uninstall. You only have the option to disable them. And it took me a while till I get through that and delete all those. But I would say that the storage in general is okay. I got the 128 gigabyte model right here in Phantom Black. But what is a good app that's on this phone is something called Smart Switch. Sorry, the camera is reversed, so the text is a little backwards. But Smart Switch is on almost every Samsung phone here. It's even on my old Galaxy S20 FE. And Smart Switch allows you to either connect the phones via a cable, or you could do it over Wi-Fi, and it will transfer everything, your apps, your contacts, your photos, videos, everything. And it took me about an hour to transfer everything over with cable, but it allowed me to basically transfer all my settings. You can see that my wallpapers are the same on both phones, because I transferred everything. So it's basically just moving the entire OS settings-wise into my new phone. So I got the same app layouts and the same wallpapers, my calendar and emails like switched over. And if you saved your passwords with Samsung Pass, it's fairly easy to log into all your accounts once you get your new phone up and running. That leads me into like the idea of the Samsung ecosystem. Now I'm a fairly big Samsung user. You can see my previous videos on my channel. I got the Samsung Galaxy Watch a long time ago. I think this is the Watch 3. I also have the Samsung Galaxy Tab, and I also have always been using Samsung phones. I think my first phone was like a Motorola, but after that, it's mostly just been Samsung phones. So I'm fairly good with the Samsung ecosystem. There's Samsung DeX, which allows you to connect your phone to like your a monitor, an external monitor, and have like a second screen almost, and make it like a desktop experience. So I'm fairly comfortable with the Samsung ecosystem. And when you are in that ecosystem, it's fairly easy to transfer the apps, as I mentioned, and everything is fairly seamless in that aspect. I recently acquired a Fossil smartwatch. It's actually a hybrid watch, and it's got some tricks on it. So if you want to know what that trick is, watch my previous video about the Fossil watch. And that's the first time that I actually broken out of the Samsung ecosystem with a major tech, moving from the Galaxy Watch to a big player in the tech world. And I usually just put a case on my phone. I actually got the same case company that I got my S20 FE from. So it's actually, overall, it looks like I just transferred my phone over to like the same thing. Like it kind of looks like that with the same case and everything. But overall, I'm fairly happy with the S22 Plus. It was a good buy, which leads me into the topic of buying a phone after its release after some time. Now, this S22 Plus has been on the market for about 6-7 months now, and I've been using it for about a week and a half. And I gotta say that the S22 Plus, it's a great phone, especially if you're jumping more than 2 years from your previous phone. There's a lot of good things with it. Now, it will be very comfortable for you to switch because it's all the same Android and you could transfer over your settings and everything like that. But the big thing is that you get to save some money. The Galaxy S22 Plus, when it was first released, based on like what kind of configuration you have set up with the storage, it could be like $1,000. But I got this phone for $800 on Amazon. There are some deals going on if you go through the actual Samsung page, especially if you have like an education discount or a veteran discount. You save like another $50. And if you have like a referral code and anything, plus you get some deals if you go through Samsung where you could save like 20% on a tablet if you buy them together. But on Amazon, it was another $50 off. Plus, if you have an Amazon credit card with Amazon Prime, you get like 5% cash back. So it was much cheaper to go through Amazon than any other store, Best Buy, Walmart, whatever. It was cheaper to go through Amazon. So in that regard, you do save some money by buying a phone that's been released much later. And really what happens is like once the new phone comes out, the S23s, which come out next year, and usually they come out in February, these phones are going to drop price fairly massively. The thing with like Apple phones, for example, those fairly are strong in terms of price retention. They have their prices. They don't fluctuate that much. An $800 phone might go down to like $750 or $700. But things with the Android ecosystem, there's so many options to choose from, not with iOS. But in the Android ecosystem, a phone can drop $200-$300 after a few months after release. So this Samsung phone definitely dropped in value, and I was able to get a fairly good deal. Now, Black Friday is coming up, so there could be some other deals with that. But if you do wait until the S23s come out, there could be even a bigger price drop. And I think the S22 is a fairly good price to performance like ratio. And the S23s, it's only going to be another generational improvement. If you're jumping more than 2 or more years, I would suggest waiting for that. But if you have more than a 2-year-old phone right now, you could wait until the S23 and get the S22 lineup. And I would highly recommend that. You save a lot of money and you still get the new Snapdragon 8 chip and the new design and everything. So overall, I think that's like a fairly good bet for you. So that's what I have to say about the S22 Plus that I recently got. The old S20 FE is going to my dad. So hopefully he'll like this. It's still a very good phone. But I'm pretty glad that I got the S22 Plus. So if you want me to answer any questions or anything, please leave them down below in the comments. I can make like a follow-up video saying how I like this phone after like a month of using it, and maybe how it might compare to the S23 lineup. But other than that, if you did enjoy the video, please like the video and comment down below with any questions that you have. I'll be happy to answer them. And with that, that's about it. So please do consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.